It was character that got us out of bed. It was commitment that drove us into action. And discipline that enabled us to follow through. Zig Ziglar. 2020, overall, it's the most amazing year I ever had. Perspective is key. The year started for me around Halloween of 2019. For those of you that missed my icebreaker, to understand where I'm coming from, it's about 30 years of serious depression, decade of homelessness, basically giving up on everything I ever started on. Longest period of follow through I ever had, maybe 3.5 months, back in 2012 when I went to culinary school. I didn't have the mindset. Perspective is key. Let's go back a couple of weeks when I tried a general evaluator role for the first time. I failed that pretty good. Had a bit of a panic attack halfway through, mostly due to uncertainty. My mind just started going blank and was focused on the problem. These emotions just start stirring up, and by keeping the problem so close, they bounce back and forth and amplify. There's no escape. The anxiety builds and builds. Try calming myself. That's just kind of like petting the problem, calling it by a different name, trying to make it seem less threatening. That's not a solution. The solution is back here. The solution cannot be seen because the problem is in the way. You need to find a way around the problem. The correct mindset is to push the problem to the side so the solution can become apparent. But how do you do that? All these anxious feelings, building and building. You have to step aside. And you have to ask yourself why. Why am I having this panic attack? I had these sheets I filled out. These questions. I designed them so all I had to do was answer these, and then I would be able to do my presentation. So why is that not answered? I had trouble identifying a lot of things, and then I started getting just anxious feelings, but what started this? What was the first thing you were doing when this anxiety began? I wanted glows and grows for everybody, so I started with the speakers and was trying to identify. And so the core problem is identifying glows and grows. Well, yeah. How can you fix this? I don't know. Maybe I just need more practice, or I suppose I could research. Wait, yeah. This is a more manageable problem. And so after the meeting, I went out and I researched. I found the site of a guy who had won the Toastmaster awards over 100 times. And through his evaluations and what he had learned along the way, I was able to teach myself different techniques. One of my biggest takeaways was this checklist. But you can see a little different from the standard Toastmasters. It has more involved in the structure of the speech and other aspects, which you can use for even more advanced speakers, whereas the standard Toastmaster checklist is good for a good guideline for beginning speakers. It also has 2 columns. Columns you liked and columns that need improvement. Basically, grows and glows off of these. On the other side, I use this for table topics the next week and speech evaluation after that. Would put, the name of the topic just so you can remind people what they were talking about, and any notes. In notes, I would do examples, such as if you say, oh, well, Sally said this, but if she had said this, it would have been better. Or Ted did this movement, but if he had kept it a little smaller, it would have been more impactful. By giving examples, it really amplifies your evaluation. I'm an evaluator now. No. I learned that this was my first step. This gets closer to design thinking because I learned I needed to learn presentations after this. In design thinking, you come up with a bunch of ideas. And then in the next step, you select a couple that will work, you think will work the best. And then you hit the third step, experimentation phase. Implement these ideas. See if they're validly authentic. Do they work? If so, you may have found a solution. Awesome. Does it work? Great. Do you stop there? No. Design thinking is circular. You can go back to the beginning and try some of the other ideas and run them through. It's a continuous circuit. You may find other ideas that work even better or think of something that you didn't even realize before. The mindset is the most important part. Remember, perspective is key.